You've been doing this wrong. Everything looks fine till you see it. A tiny patch of soil, no bigger than a doormat. And yet, carrots. Hundreds of them, packed so tightly it doesn't make sense. Most people struggle to grow a few dozen carrots across their entire garden. But here, in just 6 square feet, they're pulling out nearly 1,000. No machines, no chemicals, shortcuts, just a system. And here's the uncomfortable truth. It's not your effort that's the problem. It's the space you're wasting. Most people believe something simple. Bigger garden equals more food. And it makes sense. More space, more plants, more harvest. But the reality is, that's the mistake. Because most gardens are not limited by size. They're limited by inefficiency. Rows, gaps, empty soil. It looks clean, organized, controlled. But in reality, it's wasted potential. Every inch that isn't producing is lost yield. And once you see that, everything changes. The Amish don't think in rows, they think in coverage. Every inch of soil has a purpose. Every gap is filled intentionally. 'Cause carrots don't grow like most plants. They don't spread wide. They grow down. Which means they can share space far more than you think. And this is where the first big shift happens. It's not about spacing plants. It's about maximizing what the soil can produce. Instead of rows, they use a grid-like system, not drawn, but understood. Seeds are spread evenly across the entire surface. No empty corridors, no wasted lines, just full, controlled coverage. And when spacing is done right, something surprising happens. The plants don't compete. They stabilize each other. Moisture becomes consistent. Growth becomes uniform. Yield starts increasing. This creates a cycle. Better spacing gives better moisture, gives better roots, gives higher yield. But this only works if the soil allows it. And this is where most people fail. Most soil looks fine on top, but underneath, it's compacted, hard, resistant. So when carrots try to grow, they twist, fork, stop early, and your yield drops. Even if everything else is perfect. The Amish don't just use soil, they engineer it. They loosen it deep. Not just on the surface, they refine the texture, removing clumps and resistance. They mix organic matter evenly, so nutrients exist at every level. And most importantly, they keep the soil light, because roots don't just need water, they need freedom. And when roots are free, everything changes. They grow deeper, straighter, stronger, and suddenly, dense planting doesn't feel risky anymore. It feels powerful. Because here's the truth most people get wrong. Crowded plants shouldn't work. But with the right system, they don't compete, they cooperate. Dense planting actually improves conditions. The soil stays shaded, moisture stays stable, weeds struggle to grow. And instead of each plant fighting alone, they become part of a system. But there's one critical moment where everything can fall apart. Planting the seeds. Most people just sprinkle seeds randomly, and that randomness creates problems you can't fix later. Clusters, gaps, uneven growth, and once seeds are in the soil, your outcome is already locked in. The Amish solve this with one simple trick. They mix seeds with fine sand. This slows distribution and spreads them evenly. So instead of chaos, you get balance, even spacing, better germination, stronger starts. And this leads to something powerful, predictability. But then comes the step that feels the worst, thinning. Most people either do too much or avoid it completely. Both destroy yield. The Amish do it differently. They thin in stages. Early, when roots are small, gently, without disturbing the system. And instead of wasting plants, they use them. Nothing is lost. This keeps the system stable. And as spacing improves gradually, growth becomes stronger, not weaker. Now, here's another mistake most people make. They try to help their plants too much, especially with water. More water feels like the right move, but it creates weak plants, shallow roots, unstable growth. The Amish do the opposite. They water deeply, but less often. This forces roots to grow downward, and deeper roots mean stronger plants, better nutrient access, higher yield. And when you combine this with dense planting, the soil starts regulating itself. Moisture stays balanced, conditions stabilize, and the system becomes self-sustaining. Same with sunlight. Most people chase maximum sun, but too much sun dries soil, stresses roots, and reduces yield. The Amish don't maximize sunlight, they control it. Dense planting naturally shades the soil, which keeps it cooler, more stable. And now, everything starts working together. Water, soil, light. Not as separate factors, but as one system. Then comes another hidden layer. Companion planting. Instead of growing carrots alone, they add supporting plants, onions, herbs. These confuse pests, improve soil, stabilize conditions. So now the system isn't just efficient, it's resilient. And this is why most people never reach this level. Because they make small mistakes that quietly destroy the system. Overwatering, bad thinning, ignoring soil, random spacing. Each one seems small, but together they compound. And instead of improving, the system slowly breaks down. The Amish avoid this by focusing on process, not results. Because once the system is right, the results become predictable. And this brings us to the number everyone doubts, 1,000 carrots. It sounds impossible, but the math is simple. If each carrot takes just a small amount of space, and every inch of soil is used, and loss is minimized, the numbers add up, fast, but here's the key. They're not chasing 1,000 carrots. They're building a system where 1,000 becomes natural. And once you understand that, everything shifts. You stop thinking, I need more land, and start thinking, how can this space produce more? And then comes the final layer, the one almost nobody talks about. Timing. Most people plant once. And wait, the Amish don't. They overlap cycles before one harvest ends. The next begins. No empty soil, no wasted time. This creates momentum, where each cycle improves the next. And suddenly, 6 square feet isn't small anymore. It's powerful. Because in the end, they don't grow more, they waste less. They don't fight nature, they work with it. And once you build this system, you realize something simple. You don't need more space. You just need a better way to use it.